What if I told you the next manufacturing superpower won't be determined by who has the most factories? It won't be determined by who has the cheapest labor, and it won't be determined by who produces the most product. Instead, the next manufacturing winners may be determined by something far less visible: supply chains. This week, manufacturing news reveals a pattern that many executives are still underestimating. In the UK, automotive leaders are warning that supply chain competitiveness must become a boardroom priority. In the United States, a major industrial analysis suggests trillions of dollars may be needed to rebuild domestic manufacturing capabilities. And in South Carolina, a $1 billion investment in rare earth magnetic production highlights the growing importance of critical materials. At first glance, those stories appears unrelated. One is about automotive manufacturing, one is about industrial policy, and one is about critical minerals. But together they reveal something much more larger. The global manufacturing rebuild has begun, and the battlefield is no longer the factory floor, it's the supply chain. Welcome to the Industry Go, where we transform manufacturing news into executive level intelligence. Today, we will examine what happened, why it matters, and most importantly, what manufacturers should do next. So the first story is UK automotive leaders are increasingly warning that supply chain competitiveness must become a strategic priority for senior leadership teams. For years, supply chains were largely viewed as operational functions because focused on purchasing, logistics, and cost management. But recent disruptions have changed that perspective. Manufacturers have experienced pandemic shutdowns, semiconductor shortages, transportation bottlenecks, geopolitical tensions, and increasing pressure to localize production. The result is a growing realization that supply chain directly impact profitability, production, reliability, customer satisfaction, and long-term competitiveness. Industry leaders are now arguing that supply chain strategy belongs in boardroom alongside finance, operations, and growth planning. So why it all happened? It happened due to several forces are driving this shift. First, manufacturing has become more global interconnected than ever before. A disruption in one region can quickly affect production on the other side of the world. Second, electric vehicles require batteries, semiconductors, rare earth materials, and advanced electronics. And many of these components are concentrated in specific countries and supplier ecosystems. Third, governments increasingly view manufacturing as a strategic asset. Industrial policy is becoming more aggressive globally, creating both opportunities and risks for manufacturers. And finally, customers expect faster delivery, greater reliability, and higher product availability. Companies can no longer afford fragile supply networks. So, why the manufacturer should care? The companies that build resilient supply chains will gain a competitive advantage. The companies that continue optimizing solely for cost may discover that a single disruption can eliminate years of efficiency gains. Supply chains are no longer support systems, they are competitive weapons. So, the insight that you can draw from this is the next generation of manufacturing leaders won't simply manage factories, they will manage ecosystems. And the strongest ecosystems will outperform the biggest factories. Now, moving on to the second story. So, what has happened? A recent industrial analysis highlighted the enormous scale of investment required to strengthen America's manufacturing base. The report suggests that replacing strategically important goods with domestic production could require approximately $2 trillion in investment. This isn't simply about reshoring, it's about rebuilding industrial capabilities that have gradually moved overseas over several decades. The discussion covers everything from factories and equipment to supplier networks, workforce development, logistics infrastructure, and advanced manufacturing technologies. So, why it happened? The pandemic exposed vulnerabilities that many manufacturers already suspected existed. Companies discovered that critical products, components, and materials often came from highly concentrated global supply chains, and semiconductor shortages disrupted automotive production. Medical equipment shortages exposed supply risks. Transportation bottlenecks delayed deliveries worldwide. These events forced both governments and manufacturers to rethink assumptions about globalization. Efficiency remains important, but resilience is becoming equally important. The goal is not necessarily to produce everything domestically. The goal is to ensure strategic capabilities existed when they are needed. Immediate impact. Over the next 12 months, manufacturers should expect increased discussion around reshoring, localization, industrial investment, incentives, and supply chain diversification. Governments may continue expanding support programs designed to encourage domestic manufacturing investment. Companies will increasingly spend on automation because labor availability remains a major challenge. So, future impact. Over the next 5 years, we could see the beginning of one of the largest industrial investment cycle in decades. New factories, new supplier networks, new manufacturing technologies, new workforce requirements, and perhaps most importantly, new competitive advantages for regions that successfully attract industrial investment. So then the insight that you can draw from this is the real story isn't reshoring, the real story is industrial resilience. Manufacturers are beginning to recognize that resilience itself creates economic value. Now, moving on to the third story. A $1 billion investment was announced for a rare earth magnetic manufacturing facility in South Carolina. Rare earth magnets are essential components in electric vehicles, industrial automation systems, defense equipment, renewable energy systems, and advanced electronics. Despite their importance, global production remains heavily concentrated. This investment aims to strengthen domestic manufacturing capabilities in one of the most strategically important segments of the industrial economy. So, why it happened? Because modern manufacturing depends on critical materials, and without rare earth magnets, many advanced technologies simply cannot function. Electric vehicle motors require them, industrial robots require them, wind turbines require them, defense system require them. As governments and manufacturers become increasingly concerned about supply chain security, investments in critical material production are accelerating. This isn't just about mining, it's about creating complete industrial ecosystem that include processing, manufacturing, and final product integration. So why the manufacturer should care? Many manufacturers focus on finished products, but the most important competitive battles often occur much further upstream. Companies that secure access to the critical materials may enjoy greater production stability, lower supply risk, and stronger long-term competitiveness. Manufacturers that ignore these developments may become increasingly vulnerable to shortages and price volatility. So, the future impact: rare earths could become the semiconductor story of the next decade. Governments may continue supporting domestic production. Industrial companies may seek long term supply agreements, and the investors may increase capital allocation toward critical material projects, and the manufacturers may begin evaluating material security with the same seriousness that currently evaluates supply chain resilience. In the in the next industrial era, access to the critical materials may become as important as access to the labor, capital, or technology. Manufacturers that understand this early will have a significant advantage. So, when we connect all of these stories, a larger pattern emerges. The global manufacturing economy is entering a new phase. For decades, the dominant objective was efficiency, manufacture optimized for lower cost, lean inventories, and global sourcing. Today, the objective is changing. The new priority is resilience. Supply chain competitiveness is becoming a strategic differentiator. Domestic industrial capacity is becoming a national priority. Critical materials are becoming strategic assets. The winner of the next industrial decade may not be the manufacturer with the lowest cost. They may be the manufacturer with the strongest supply networks, the most resilient operations, and the greatest access to the capital critical resources. This doesn't mean globalization is ending, it means manufacturing strategy is evolving. The future belongs to the companies that can balance efficiency with resilience, those that can localize where necessary while remaining globally competitive, those that can build ecosystems rather than simply operate factories. Because the next manufacturing race isn't about making more products, it's about controlling the systems that can make production possible. So, before we wrap up, one final observation. Many manufacturers are investing millions into operations, equipment, automation, and supply chain improvement, yet their digital presence often fails to reflect their strength of the business. If you are a manufacturer looking to improve the lead generation, strengthen your online positioning, or better communicate your capabilities to customers and partners, it's worth treating your digital presence with the same strategic focus that you are applying to operation. Because in today's market, the competitive advantage isn't just built on the factory floor, it's built on how you interact with the customers, suppliers, and partner perceive your business. So there is a link in the description and go and book your free strategy call. So thanks for watching. If you found this analysis valuable, subscribe to the Industry Go for weekly manufacturing intelligence designed specifically for executive operations, leaders, and industrial decision maker. We will see you in the next briefing.